實拍實說，大地海外升學。
歡迎收睇實拍實說，我係大地海外升學嘅 Daniel 啊。我哋今日嚟到一間非常之獨特嘅寄宿學校 Bishopstrow College。佢哋嘅學生讀書喺度通常都係讀1年左右嘅啫。咁但係點解你可能會問，讀1年亦都會咁受家長同埋同學歡迎呢？英國嘅寄宿學校一向都深受本地啦，以至國際嘅學生歡迎嘅。當中唔少學校都有一定嘅入學要求。咁學校創辦人留意到呢一點所以就成立咗呢間 college 啦，為國際嘅學生提供強化英語啦同埋 core subjects 嘅課程，幫助啲同學打好個底，可以達到入讀心儀學校嘅入學要求。咁創校嘅理念就好似升讀大學嘅 foundation program 差唔多嘅。現時學校招收嘅學生年齡係介乎7至17歲嘅，佢哋都會來自全球20多個國家同埋地區，為咗方便來自唔同國家嘅同學。佢哋喺每年嘅9月啦、1月、3月、6月同7月都可以入學嘅。Bishopstrow College 係位於英國西南嘅 Warminster。如果由倫敦希斯路機場過嚟要個半至2個鐘；而如果由 Bristol 機場過嚟就只需要1個鐘頭左右。Warminster 係一個簡樸嘅小鎮。佢同好多英式嘅小鎮一樣，都有自己嘅商店街同埋文娛康體設施，生活購物當然就唔會有問題啦。至於 Warminster 附近1個鐘頭車程之內就有 Bath 同埋巨石群呢啲出名嘅旅遊景點。對於寄宿學校嚟講Bishopstrow College 嘅校園唔算得十分之大，但係需要有嘅設施都應有盡有嘅。呢度嘅課程覆蓋好闊嘅年齡層，學校由7歲嘅 Key Stage 1課程去到15、16歲嘅 IGCSE 課程都有開辦㗎。同學無論係咩年紀都好學校都會為佢哋提供每星期12至13小時嘅英語課程，以確保佢哋可以達到所需要嘅語文水平嘅。千祈唔好俾12、13個鐘頭嘅英語課堂嚇親啊！喺度學英文一啲都唔悶㗎。佢哋會喺堂上面學啲日常嘅用語啦、drama and literature 啦，仲有同佢哋學科相關嘅英語課程等等，俾同學又好玩又實用嘅方法去學習嘅。影片一開頭有提過 Bishopstrow College 主要係為同學銜接去享負盛名嘅寄宿學校，繼而升讀頂尖大學而設嘅。而學校喺過去嘅成績都係有目共睹嘅。校長同 boarding tutor 會按每個同學嘅需要，同家長同埋學生共同制定升學目標，並且進行一系列嘅準備功夫，好似話係準備 personal statement 啊、面試啊、入學考試等等嘅。而因為校方同過百間嘅寄宿學校有合作協議，所以為同學喺銜接上面嘅準備功夫可以做得相當針對性㗎。為咗令同學適應寄宿生嘅生活，學校好努力咁樣去營造優良嘅宿舍環境俾同學㗎。學校一部分嘅宿舍係設喺 campus 入邊嘅，佢哋嘅房間主要係3至5人房為主，主要會安排俾一啲年紀較細嘅同學，等佢哋可以互相照應嘅。而另外仲有一部分嘅宿舍就係設喺學校嘅對面馬路嘅啫。宿舍入邊唔少得嘅當然就係 common room 啦，俾同學放咗學之後可以一齊傾下偈玩下。大家好，我哋今日首先我哋會訪問校長 Clementi 嘅，咁我哋睇睇喺 Bishopstrow 呢度有啲咩教學理念啦，校長會想同我哋分享下嘅。So welcome very much for the interview.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the first question is of course to understand more about the college. So can you give me a brief picture of the school and what's the uniqueness of the college?
Yes, of course. Well, Bishopstrow is a unique college. We take students who are between 7 and 17 years of age. We're entirely international. And students will come to us from a range of different countries, but with a particular need in mind. And I think of 2 or 3 particular needs when I say that. They need to improve their English language, and many of them come with very good English, some with not so good. But above all, they're preparing for their next school destination. And typically that's going to be a UK boarding school. So Bishopstrow's uniqueness is in appreciating the need to improve English, but also to prepare a student academically, personally, socially for their next boarding school. And we do all of that with a unique approach. And we think in terms of there being 5 very important virtues that students must follow and live by while they're here. And that helps them. So we have students buying into the idea of being kind, polite, hard-working, well-organised, and good team players. And we think that a combination of those virtues, our approach, helps them prepare in the way that I suggest for their next school.
Right, so that's a good transition stage before they get into their ideal school. So what is the school's philosophy in teaching, and how does it guide the teaching approach for the students?
I think above all, teaching has to take into account the particular needs of the student. So we will have mixed abilities, we will do our very best to make sure all of our teachers take all of that into account from the very beginning.
Right.
So we have initial placement tests. We're able to be flexible and adaptable while students are here to adapt to their needs. And we also make sure that our teaching and learning follows particular principles. And for us, possibly the most important one is small group teaching and learning. So for us, we will have 8 students maximum in an English lesson, 12 in a subject lesson. And what that will do for the majority of the students that we enrol is give them a unique and new experience. Learning in a small class environment, being able to get help from their teacher, liaise with each other, get to know each other's strengths and weaknesses, but to learn in such a way that they are able to make progress because of that focus on the small teaching and learning environment.
Yeah, so that's a really small group, then for sure that the teacher will know the best of the students and help them the most. So what is the nationality mix in here, and how do you support the students when they need some help? Because obviously their parents is not in here and probably their first time to be in the UK. So how do you support them?
Well, look, on the nationality mix, first of all, over the course of a typical year here, we would welcome students from between 20 and 25 different countries. Now, what that brings with it is a need for the environment they are coming to be tolerant, to be supportive, to be accepting of every different country, culture and language. And that's the case here, both on the part of my colleagues, but also on the part of the students that come here. There is an acceptance of each other and, if you like, a joy in being within each other's cultural company, which I think is very important. At the time, even before enrolment, when we interview students for a place at the college, we talk about the importance of our multinational ethos. So we ensure that students feel welcome even before they arrive. And what they can expect when they're here is an emphasis for every student on cultural appreciation, but above all, the culture which they are coming into. So English, British culture is that which will be prioritised while they are here. So English is the language not only of the classroom, but of the college. And that will inspire students to immerse themselves in English so that again they are ready for their next school destination. And we are very supportive. We know that for some students that will be very difficult. Those who come with very limited English will need a lot more support, and we will do that. We will be proactive in offering additional support for students, not just in class because of linguistic restrictions or concerns, but also in boarding. When some students may feel homesick, some may take longer to adapt than others, but we help them. We have a very nurturing environment, and that applies both to my teaching colleagues, but also, of course, to my boarding staff at the college.
Yeah, so that's great. So, and how does the school engage with the parents and get them involved in the education? Because I assume that some of them are not staying in the country, but in the home country like Hong Kong, China, Japan. So how do you communicate with the parents?
The first thing to say is that we are always very, very open to parents making contact with us to discuss their child's progress and so on. And you're right that the majority of our parents are overseas in the country of origin. What really helps us communicate their child's progress is the very regular reporting that we do. We call our reports individual learning plans, and the important thing there is in the title. We want to make parents aware, through sending these plans home every 3 or 4 weeks, to make them aware that their children are on a journey, that they are learning, that we are helping them make progress, and they can see that in what we report to them. And that is a really effective way also of getting feedback from parents and guardians about how they think their children are doing and any questions that they may have. So in a typical term, each student will receive 3 such reports. An initial settling in report, which is really important, literally after
Definitely.
1 or 2 weeks, which I think is quite unique. Then one halfway through a term, and then one at the very end. And if you think about the fact that our students, some of them, are here perhaps for just 1 term, to get 3 summary reports of how they are progressing, both in academic life and in boarding, is I think really important. And then those who stay a year, well, by the end of a year they may have had 9 or 10. So it's quite something in terms of wanting parents to be aware of how their children are doing.
So that's really unique that they keep knowing the progress, and also it seems you guys are always tracking the progress of the students, then making the adjustment that fits them.
I think it's important to say a couple of things around that to enable us to track progress effectively for those reports, every student has an English language test every Saturday morning. So we track and we report, and all those results are included on the report. That's helpful. And the other thing to say is that such a regular focus on reviewing progress means that when I come to write a reference for my students for their next school, I can go straight to all of that material on those individual learning plans and include some really effective feedback for those schools in the reference request that they make. And that's one of my one of the roles I most enjoy about being here is I prepare and write every student's reference for their next school. So for me to get to know my students is essential, and the systems we have in place enable me to do that.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. So, do you have any support to the student if they're really struggling about their life? You just mentioned that they may get some homesick or they really can't adapt to the new environment. So, what do you help the students?
I think the first thing they have is each other. We have a wonderful system whereby within a fairly small college, which we are, we have a house system. Not just the houses the students live in, but the 4 houses that they work together in. So that means that they have support within their own kind of student environment. But we also have a welfare team to look after students who may have particular concerns around anything, not just settling in. We have a very good induction program, so on their very first day here, we help students as well as possible, as quickly as possible, to understand the environment they are coming into. But I think the most important thing to say for any student that might worry about homesickness, any parent as well, is that we are proactive, not just reactive. We walk around, we talk to our students, our boys and girls, we make them feel welcome. We ask them what they need, we take care of them, we monitor them. And all of that is part of what everybody who works here believes in. They don't just come to teach, they don't just come to be boarding tutors, they come to be involved in a child's life, and exactly in a unique family atmosphere like this.
I can feel so.
Everybody needs to feel the same, and thankfully they do. It's back to those 5 virtues again. And particularly for all of us, it's the teamwork and the caring that's really important when we think about what students are going through. Because what a journey they are on. Many of them travelling across the world to do something they've never done before.
And this is usually the first step in the country.
It can be that for many of them it can be the first time they have left their own country or city. So we are asking them to join a new country, a new school, a new education system, a new culture. So with all of that, my colleagues and I have to be aware every minute of every day that students need support in that way. So we think it works well. We end up saying goodbye to very happy students at the end of a year. Not just that, but very confident students who feel they have learned a lot and achieved a lot in this new environment.
And getting prepared for the new journey.
It's why we know it's why they're here. We want the journey not just to be productive in that they get somewhere at the end of it, but that they also enjoy doing it and being here, and making friendships and being less homesick and growing as people, which is so important.
Amazing. So any extracurricular activities that you have brought to the students?
Yeah, I mean, extracurricular activities play a part in all of that, by the way, because they do help friendships be established. So we have our lunchtime clubs, which are really successful. At the moment, this term, for example, we have my club debating, we have film, we have music, we have some sports, we have word puzzles and lots of things that students enjoy doing and sometimes that they have requested. And then in the evenings, when there's a little bit more downtime for students, they will be able to do activities again, such as sports. We have table tennis and badminton right now in the evenings. We have a well-being club. We have gardening. There are different. We have science, which the younger students really enjoy. There's a lot going on to kind of increase that involvement in life and also in making you grow as a person.
Yeah, so that to keep them busy and also to enrich their life, I'm sure.
It is. I think enrichment is critically important. It's not just that you should be enriching what students do in your school. It's that you want students to feel that enriching is a good thing, that self-enrichment works. So the more they are involved in, the better. But you have to work at in different ways with different students.
Yes, totally agree. So my last questions will be any plan for the school. So do you have any recent initiatives or anything in the short future that you think you'll be implemented at the school? Yeah.
I think there are 2 or 3 things. I think one of them which comes to mind is giving the student voice a lot more, I think a lot more involvement, a lot more authority. So we've reintroduced our student council this year, which is great because you haven't just got to be a head of house or a deputy head of house to feel you can get involved, and the student council allows that involvement to happen. In the boarding houses, we've introduced reading. Now, this sounds fairly simple and straightforward, but we've introduced for students the importance of reading before bedtime, rather than just being on gadgets and iPads and calling home, to actually get some quality time reading something in English. Not for very long, half an hour perhaps, but we think it's creating a much more, a slightly more relaxed environment. Yeah. Students,
and they can calm down.
And I think a calming at the end of what is a very busy, hard-working day for all students. So we're trying to help them wind down as well as trying to help them wind up, if that makes sense. And I think it seems to be working, and I think that's important. And I think the other thing to say about initiatives is that we really are driving those extracurricular clubs forward, and I think that for us is quite a big thing, particularly the lunchtime involvement. It involves students and teachers being together, but in a different way, and again in a more relaxed way. Yeah. And all of that is helping the overall growth of the students.
Great, yeah, lovely. And I'm looking forward to see the lunch after lunch club, because I will be walking around here.
Great.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed.
You're very welcome.
Nice talking to you.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you.
咁咧，我哋好高興啦！我哋請咗兩位同學，一位係宇軒同埋 Alan。咁佢兩位都係來自中國嘅，咁我哋咧就聽聽佢哋其實嚟到 Bishopstrow 入邊個經驗啦。So thank you for the interview. Thank you for joining us. So can you introduce yourself a little bit?
I'm Yu Xin. I'm from China, and I'm 15 years old.
Great.
My name is Alan. I'm from China. Now I'm 16 years old.
16 years old. So my question is always to ask for your reason to come to UK. So what makes you come to study abroad, Yu Xin?
The most important reason is the education here. I feel that I always can make plans by myself, and I think this is the most efficient way to help me study.
So what about you, Alan?
Similar as Yuxing, but also I think their system is different than China. I can choose what I want to study also.
Okay, so it's the flexibility and what you can study. So do you enjoy about your study here?
Yeah, is of course, because their study is very useful, and of course we can expand our vocabulary very quickly here, improve our English very quickly here.
Also, we can make a lot of friends from different countries, and now I have a lot of Russia friends and Russia friends.
Yeah. So what about you? Did you make any friends from other nationality?
Yes, of course. I have Thailand friends. I have Russian friends from different nationalities.
So that's kind of international community that you are studying here. And I can see from your activities there's always a lot of mix in English language.
Yeah.
So how would you describe the teaching style in here?
I think the teacher always careful because it is international school, and sometimes we may face the problem that we don't understand. But the teacher always patience about our problems, and the rhythm of their classes is slow, so we can observe the knowledge more.
So what's your view, Alan, about the teaching style learning?
Yeah, also the teacher was very helpful. When I come first, I don't understand anything, and also teacher try to let me understand, and I can improve a lot.
Great, that's brilliant to know you enjoy the learning in here. So how long have you been studying in Bishopstrow here?
I think 1 term.
1 term?
Yeah.
So about
I stay here 4 term.
4 term.
Yeah, nearly 1 year.
So maybe that question I should go to you first about how's the study here influence you, because you have been studying here for 4 terms. So do you find any differences between before you come to the school, and how does it influence you?
I think it's very different. Like when I come here first, I'm very not very confident. And, scared and very shy to talk with other people. And now I can try to talk with different countries' people and speak more in the lesson. Yeah.
I can see the progress. At least we can chat here.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Me also. It helps me grow my self-confidence. At first, I can't speak a lot to you, such as, and now I can chat more smoothly.
So you both came from mainland China. So I think that's a big difference between the education in the school between China and here. So can you tell me some difference between those?
In mainland of China is more pressure, and we always need to study very hard, and so that we have the competitors are also very good, and we need to like study more than here.
And also in China, we need to study all the subjects like Chinese, English, science, and math. But in here we can choose the subject what we study in. Like I have GCSE test about science, so I choose biology, chemistry, or something else.
Great.
So this is very different.
Yeah. What about the assignments and exams compared with China?
It's not more easily, but it's like mention more different knowledge. But in China, the knowledge is more deeper. It's always still like one direction.
I see. Yeah. So so coming to here, I suppose your parents is not living with you. So do you find any time that you're struggling or you need some support from the school? So anything that they can help you?
Yeah. I think always the first when I come here, I feel a little bit homesick, and the body staff always support me and help me reduce the bad emotion, and I think they are very helpful.
And also now I'm head house in the house, and also I have very emotional, and my friend will help me, and also teacher will help me to be happier and do my best.
That's very important that they can help you to overcome the homesickness, because you got no one to help you. I mean from the family, but it's very always good to hear. So besides the study in the classroom, and do you have any enrichment activities that you have joined in here? Yeah.
I enjoy sports a lot, especially the inter-house sports. We always have a good experience here. We can know more each other.
Also, I like here sports because of here have a lot of different sports I can try, like hockey, rugby, or tennis. Lot of sport I didn't try before, and also I can work with my friend and my house.
Great. So my last questions to you two will be, of course, the advice, because I think the viewer of this video is looking for some advice from you two that actually studying here. Do you have any advice for the students or even parents that if they consider to study in the UK in the boarding school? So do you have any advice?
I think for students, just keep your mind on studying and focus what are you studying about. If you learn here, you will, and your focus will improve your English very quickly.
Okay, definitely.
I think this school is very amazing about your improve your English very quick, and also you should speak in English every time, and that's very helpful.
Okay, so be open up to speak more
Yeah.
and not to worry because the school will support you.
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah. So thank you very much for the interview and nice talking to you two, and I hope you will have a very wonderful journey in the future in your next school. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
今日參觀嘅 Bishopstrow College 咧，我見到佢哋好努力咁樣去幫同學做一啲充分嘅準備，等佢哋咧可以去到更加心儀嘅寄宿學校嗰度咧進一步發展。呢度嘅同學嚟到多數咧都只係讀1、2個學期書。初初我以為同學之間嘅友誼同埋師生關係會普普通通啦，但嚟學校參觀咗1日之後咧，真係同想象之中有好大嘅分別啊！我見佢哋無論上堂同埋活動時間咧都好 friend， 可以打成一片。而因為佢哋啲課堂都係小班教學啦，所以老師的確可以好針對唔同同學嘅能力同埋需要咧，去幫助佢哋嘅。學校附近嘅 Town Warminster 咧係一個簡樸嘅城鎮，同好多英國嘅小鎮一樣咧，都唔係一啲諗住俾你五光十色生活嘅地方。但係對於嚟讀書嘅同學咧，係一個好好嘅環境，好簡約，好清幽。咁喺呢度買嘢行街咧，其實感覺都好安全嘅，亦都好方便同學要去買一啲日用品咁樣嘅。學校咧亦都距離一啲唔少香港人住嘅城鎮，例如係 Bristol 啊、Southampton 咧，其實唔算太遠嘅啫。如果有屋企人住喺呢啲地方，想嚟探同學咧，其實都好方便，個零鐘嘅車程咧就到㗎啦。希望大家都中意呢一條 video 啦！臨走之前記得 like、comment 同 subscribe 我哋實拍實說 channel 啊！
有海外升學問題，即刻 WhatsApp 大地啦！